Then after that person, another one will come to elaborate more, and then there will be elections. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said, the visitors are already here with us. The family that is visited is the best family. Keep it on time, no problem. Keep it up. So beautiful. So nice. So nice. So nice. Very nice, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Sid. Yeah, the visitor will continue until the... Because the Almighty God has made all this happen. We can't forget the Almighty God. We need to invite heaven. We need to invite the angels from heaven to be with us. Because when the angels are here, they will believe all will be perfect. All will go well. Now, this being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me Chancellor of the Vice Chancellor, sir, you have the floor. You have the session, and we thank you for the introduction. Those new students who don't know me, who are not familiar with the Vice Chancellor, here I am, please. I had several and many opportunities to have this kind of speech just for welcome you, especially at the beginning of the academic year with the president and the founder, the Professor Dr. Barinda Bigam. I think that is not the first time to meet you. Okay? Secondly, as a high learning institution, we have not only learning microeconomics, English speaking, and other subjects related, we have to be open to public lecture. It's just to refresh mentally and the physical energy. Today, as said, Jean-Baptiste, the moderator, when a family is visited, it is a blessed family. Anthropologically and sociologically, a simple definition of a family simply say a family is composed by father, mother, and children. That is a simple definition. This moment considered as in this room as one family, made by our boss, our students, our boss, made by academic staff and administrative staff, and of course, institution leaders. In addition to that, we have guests, we have visitors who are there, meaning that we have a kind of relationship with as an institution and outside people. What is the subject of today? They have the purpose. You receive them, then welcome them, you have the activities, and then we provide their specific message. It is what I'm waiting now. But allow me to introduce them by saying that we are all, the majority here, we are Africans. Coming South Sudan, Nigeria, Congo Democratic, Gabon, and other countries, they are represented here. Dear visitors, here becomes no longer national university, but it becomes international university. It covered more than 25 nationalities. Means that we have different local languages, but in this of academic institution, the medium of instruction is English. It means that that is the common language we be using now. As Africa to define, is not going to deliver the message and related time to them. Why this Pan-Africanism ideology? It is given to young people as students because we are leaders of tomorrow in your respective countries. Without it, please let me introduce or present to you our different visitors. We have Dr. Elike Shabandi,
My colleague, 20 years ago, at National University of Rwanda, worked together and came up with research in agriculture. Welcome, dear Dr. Eric. In my left, we have Madame Wamao Nadia. We take the second part of public lecture, and secondly, we have Dr. Francis, the President, and Professor at Pam. On my side left, we have Francis. No, that's correct. Muri, sorry. Muri, in addition to this, specializing in organizing a structure within PAM organization. You take the last insight of organizing. I can't finish my short introduction without presenting my colleagues. Here present, we have the principle of UPI. We are combining two institutions in one. It's a two-in-one here visitors. And we have from you, as I said, you are our boss, but we also as a family. I request all deans, all head of department, all academic staff, and administrative staff to stand and to greet the audience, our boss. Dear deans and all departments, please try to greet the audience in the room. I am the chief of the family, the one who's introducing others. I really time to our leader and even to the microphone to Jean-Baptiste to continue the second step. That was a short and a brief presentation. Please be attentive, maximize our time, and put in practice what will be given by our visitor. Thank you very much.
And the audience. Yeah, as he said, this university houses more than 24 countries. Soon it will be the entire continent, because maybe ushered here, because it's possible. We believe that that can be possible. And of course, as he said, Africa, as one said, has to stick together so that all the dreams, all the aspirations of the continent can be attained. Without young people like you, without the youth, the continent is heading nowhere. So you are pursuing your studies, and in a few years, you'll be the decision makers, the transformers. Let's say, these are the solutions sitting in front of me. South Sudanese, you transform not only the South Sudan when you graduate, but also the entire continent. People in Gabon do the same. People in Nigeria do the same. So, at the end of the talk, because as he said, 2 lectures are to take place today in a short period of time. Don't panic. Don't be panic-stricken when you hear that 2 lectures are to take place. We make sure time is managed. And after the talk, after the lectures, we open the floor for the Africans to also share your views. You ask them questions, because they have been in the Pan-African movement for quite some time. They know more about it. So ask them why the Pan-African movement? You ask them these questions, and we have to answer those questions. Okay, I guess now the equipment are ready. If I'm not mistaken, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the first presentation. This is Dr. Eric Yoshabandi. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Master. And thank you, moderator. Thank you, dear students, professors, colleagues. I'm happy and I'm humbled to be here. I never take for granted to have an opportunity to stand and to have a mic to talk to important people young people. Some of them in civil society organizations, in universities, they used to call me friend of young people. I insist very much. So it's a privilege and a gift to me by the country, by the patron of this movement, His Excellency, the President Ulk-Kigali, who is the patron of this movement. And the chairperson of the Rwanda chapter, Honorable Umunyafurika. We are standing here, not fitting at all in the shoes, but we are here to represent the Pan-African movement chaired by Umunyafurika, who gave us the mandate to come and share our experience, our knowledge, but importantly, engage with the youth around Pan-Africanist ideology or philosophy. Then at the end, how can we engage? Are we together? And we are there? Good. I'm a professor, so I teach. I know people who are here, they can be here not following, they can be at the end of the room following very much, but also disturbed by our business around the room. So let's please take this opportunity as a very important time, as the moderator said, well, I have no doubt. Who I am, this is not interesting at all. But what is interesting is to say who I am as a Pan-Africanist. How can I stand here and pretend to have the ideology and philosophy of Pan-Africanism and bringing me to the point of engaging a such important audience? It started from a long time ago. But to be aware and to know what is Pan-African movement, I can assure you, from my background in philosophy, I started all this African philosophy. I don't know if you have a chance to have this kind of courses, but we have one on culture and philosophy. Yeah? But still, I was out of this country, not in my country of origin. Then starting hearing about all the philosophers around African philosophy, I couldn't imagine that later I needed to study deeply and to engage in Pan-Africanism ideology. So I'm catching up my history, as everyone is catching up our history as Africans. So I studied political sciences, as I told you here, and international relations. Then in my trajectory as a student, I found myself in Belgium. Okay, you know what does it mean, Belgium? Not just a colony, but our masters. So from these traditions, I was becoming happy and happy, but also angry and angry. Having to see this methodology, this content we used to have in classes, history of France, revolution, and so on. So I started just to realize, to say, what is my place? So on my social media, on my Twitter yesterday, when I was confirming that I will be here, I said, I will be turning around 2 points for my audience. What does it mean being Africans in this global world? Is it meaningful for you? What does it mean to be African in this global world? Community. I don't need to make global community. Is it a community really? Is it the African inside the community? Then when I was sleeping, I said, these students, they should know what is the global community and what is their position and how are they prepared to be part of what? This global. Complete my sentences so I can make sure that you are there. Are you members of the global community? Yes. There is a global perspective already in this university. I like it. In the way I speak, University of Rwanda, I've been having people from Gabon and so on, which is a good standard already. This is global already. But asking, what is my position in Africa in a global community? Then, my second question was, are these young people prepared enough? Yeah? What kind of challenges are they facing to embrace the global opportunities without color-based barriers? Are you together? Then what are they ready to go for these global opportunities without facing any color, black color barriers? You can ask yourself this kind of questions. Are you guys, you are just local? Are you local in your mind? Are you just local? In your mind. This also should be one of the objectives. Is to tell you guys, you are not just local. In this century, in this globalized world, you want to maintain yourself local? No. You don't deserve it. Okay? And good enough, we have a country which is doing everything to make us international. Okay? So this is the first task I'm giving to you. In whatever you are doing, position yourself as a global citizen. Yes. And even those from other countries, they know Trikumi. Only on some? Okay. So this is the first challenge to you. Then in my trajectory, I ended myself by asking, it is a kind of rebirth. Yeah? I want you to rebel. It's a renaissance. Here the debate is, if I decide what is the origin of Pan-Africanism? And we are trying to put it today. Okay? Today. Is it relevant? Because we have been hearing about Pan-Africanism. So my first point was to say, let's make it relevant from the first point of the presentation. Then going back. Students, you have today here to understand the origin of Pan-Africanism, okay? To address the development needs of Africans, right? But we need your commitment now, yeah? In whatever you are doing, as a student, as researchers, what is the place of African perspective in whatever you are doing? So we are trying to localize the Pan-Africanism ideology here. Next. So we can go in long history. I started before colonialism, during colonialism, and so on, post-independence period. I'm not boring you with long histories, okay? I want to have this very engaged. Are you together? So how all this started? It is very simple. I want you just to say, where is this initiative located? Why are you organizing conferences? Additional many conferences you are organizing. You will see that the Pan-Africanist movement started with the conferences. Yeah? One is, next. So the philosophy behind is, it's about addressing your beliefs, les croyances. Are we intending to modify your beliefs in just 1-2 hours conference? Very difficult. But the philosophy of Pan-Africanism is based on beliefs, sharing values, and advocate for unity. Repeat again. Advocate for what? Come again. Advocate for unity, please. If at the end of these protocols and speech, if you have forgotten everything, just remind one thing, that these people were there to remind us that we are one people as Africans. Okay? The unity of Africans is the objective. As black, you tell me, hey, how this man who is saying that he's teaching the art of man is researching internationally and is reminding us, bringing us back to the colors. I know this is a debate. African people, this is based on African black colors. Next. So you see this flag. But I say that African continent includes black people and non-black people. Those who are joining the ideology, who are joining the idea of unity of Africa. So, do not misunderstand. It is bringing all people, including white, yellow, so who are fighting for a Nico system, a Nico global system, including all colors, especially advocating for Africans. That's next. What is in our flag? And what is the significance? This you can find everywhere on the website. Red, it means what? The blood. Est-ce que les Africains ont versé du sang? And Africans being persecuted to have the reason to have a red color symbolizing the blood in blood. Does it make sense for you guys? Or you are in a generation where everything is good? Do not ignore our history. We are here because people have sacrificed themselves at the price of their blood. Green. Why do we have green? Green means here what? Is Africa rich? Is Africa rich? Good. I hope you have also rich mind. First of all, black obviously is black color. All started with kind of meetings, workshops, yeah? But in a century of slavery and colonization. I said I will not bore you with many histories, but colonization is known for a university student, but from Portuguese to France, to America, Paris and Belgium, there have been many movements of people claiming for justice. So Africans includes here American black people who are there as a victim of a long story of slavery, isn't it? Diaspora. So it means some Africans have been going in as intellectual elites, going in Europe universities. Okay? Then the consciousness of being Africans started from these countries. Let me just give some examples. Look at this next. I want you just to do an exercise of looking at populations from Africa, yeah, and how Africa have been divided, colonized by different actors. You can look through, if I map from Tunisia to South Africa, you can see the trajectory of the impact of the colonization in all sectors of life. There is no reason to give here in the context of Africa. But let's have some names, because philosophy goes with the names of people. Next, please. The development of Pan-Africanism started by an ordinary man, woman like me, like you. Just taking consciousness to be victim of injustice based on caste. I will not request you to retake those names. Maybe very complicated. But the idea here is, when people say we are in London, we have been observing injustice against black people. Let's organize conference and call upon, first of all, the consciousness of Africans before advocate for their rights and mobilize. Muri society. The first step is to be conscient that you are a victim. The worst thing is to be there and not know that you are a victim of something. So it means injustice will continue and will be institutionalized, because the victim of the injustice is not even aware of the injustice is living. Are you together? Injustice injustice. So the first step is this consciousness. Second is to mobilize people around you. Then is to advocate for those who hold powers. So the meeting was to protest the unequal treatment of black in the British colonies. Next. Yes. I met the Guild president student. I would ask him how many movement associations do you have, and what are kind of values and ideas are you defending? Huh? If you can say the Guild president will sit and check and see all associations of students, what are the main ideas and values they are defending, and to know what is the status of injustice, or what is the status of engagement, participation of young people in Rwanda today. I'm not saying create a such movement, but I'm saying all civic engagement start with very small association. So I can say at the end, if every single student could be part of an association, it can raise not just civic engagement, but also So, a sense of responsibility and a sense of engagement. To be alone is good. To succeed in class alone is good. But when you share values and fight with others, it becomes stronger. And this is one of the examples of National Association for Advanced Current Power. In this period, the agenda is really to have Africa participating in anticipating colonial affairs. You see, you are fighting to participate in colonial affairs, which is very courageous at this time. Next. So, 1921, 23, 27, you can see from Brussels, Lisbon, New York, many conferences contributed to make people conscious of the injustice against black people. Next. So you should know this man at the end, Mark Graham. Mark Graham is very known in this movement, who really is a very symbolic fighter of Africanism, movement, black people to Africa movement. Mark. Next, please. Those are names, you can look at them, that it started with someone who is doing this. But what are the methodology you can use now? Where can you talk from? You have social media, you just do not mobilize things, but denounce all injustice and engage for your right to be citizen of the globe. Next. Yeah, it goes in America. At example, in America, we say civil rights. Also using civil engagement, okay? The civic engagement, it goes with what I'm saying. I'm saying here in America, for example, where it is a very, very known concept. It starts with the movement, associations, yeah, even to come together. It's a step towards Africa united. If you are not seeing each other as strengths and work together, it will be, if you don't think yourself as Rwandans, national identity, it will be difficult to bring you from all this local understanding. Local understanding being local, family, ethnic, village, origin of zone, and so on. If you are still there and there is a status of Africa since the 1990s where people are most divided based on this local understanding, ethnic identities, and are you a musician, culture? So can you use all these means? Because our history is showing that people have been using the space they have as a student, the space they have as players to mobilize this consciousness. Yeah. So even music and cultures have been used to mobilize people. I think this is the end. Yes. So let me say what this brings to us as Rwandans now, as Africans. One, it has been an agenda of the African Union. Yeah? I hope my colleague will go in. African Union have been a symbolic of coming together as African countries, but still having imperialists and interferences of our colonial masters. But importantly, the problem you have is to give value to our identities, our cultures, our agachiro. Our agachiro just means I don't depend on this, and it was very difficult. Listen to this story. Are you together? We tried to introduce agachiro as a concept in the university development and international dictionary with my colleague from London. Then when we presented the first time, second time, third time, we convinced our partners and colleagues from Western that agachiro can be included in a dictionary. Okay? As a paradigm shift of self-reliance and aid to the development. That African countries should be capable to produce wealth, capital inside to present what have been the secret behind the United Rwandans, how these approaches can be used to fight terrorism ideologies for ordinary citizens in schools. It is about needs. What are the basic needs? One is basic needs. Food, my brother. I could say they will start by food, I know. Second is, education to have contract. This is what is happening in the neighboring country here, where sometimes the state orientation of how do you interact with others is very difficult. Rwandans are having a visa very easily today. It is this shield giving it to Rwandans that I can go to Brussels, I can go to Paris, to New York, and make choice to grab all opportunities, to choose what I want. In my approach, I never say, you guys don't go to Denmark, to New York. I'm not going to say that. Never. I came on Sunday myself, so I will not bring it here. But to stand as a Pan-Africanist in Paris, in New York, it means you have to be empowered before you go. This is what we are doing. So let me end by here. Feel free to ask questions, but let me remind you once again. Thank you very much, Vice Chancellor.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Eric, for this nice lecture. Ladies and gentlemen, give him another hand clap. This lecture has undoubtedly come at the right moment. I guess it is equipping us with the new insights, new information as far as the African movement is concerned, the African continent is concerned. Personally, I can say I've learned a lot from what Dr. Eric has just said, because I didn't know that the first black person to graduate from Harvard with a PhD degree is this man called Sylvester Henry. I didn't know this, but this is new information, and this man, of course, has paved the way for many of us. He has motivated many of us to also pursue our degrees to greater heights. So ladies and gentlemen, as he highlighted, the continent is here. It is what it is today because there are some people out there who have sacrificed. They had to fight tooth and nail to make sure this continent gets in. I die to hear that some of the founding fathers are those ones. Are you also getting it for the first time? Are you hearing this for the first time? You didn't know more about who the founders of this movement are, and you can also disclose what's in your mind. Do you want to share something? Let me hear from the student. Let me hear from Africans. Africans, they are setting the equipment ready. How can people implement it? Do you have something to echo? Raise your hand. I give the microphone. You feel free to talk to us. Not a question, a comment on this thing. Yes. Have them, have the Africans wishing to echo, to speak in their minds. Welcome the gentleman here. Give him a hand clap.
This is the platform that I like to be taught because I'm a young Pan-Africanist. What I want to add, I just want to say is this Pan-Africanist movement, it has been born since long ago. Even most of us were not access. Even our mom was not there or parents. But this one, it has been like the movements of the Christianity that has been beginning in Rome, that has been brought together with the colonization. And even some of us now is still saying amen, because it is the organization that has been formed by some individuals but connected with God. But let me come to the Pan-Africans. The Pan-Africanism movement, it is a movement that wants us, all the Africans, to unite ourselves, to work together, to fight together with the colonization that could not come not just to help us, but to loot our resources, natural resources that has been given to us by Almighty God, the God who created Africa, or the God who created the world with its human being. But I have a question that could go direct to Dr. It's not a question, but I just want to comment like, now, the African leaders, they just create some platforms. We have an African community, West Africa, Central Africa, World Africa. So the person who I can see, or the people who I can see now are still having the spirit of Africa. So I can say His Excellency Ulk-Kigali. I can say someone like Yoweri Museveni and and the others who I don't know about still keeping. But are they still now? Okay, I'm like, now the other leaders in Africa, are they still keeping the spirit of Africa? Or they just keep the workings on Central Africa community, East Africa community, or West Africa communities? Because if now I'm from East Africa and I'm a Sudanese, if I keep working hard about uniting Africa, and people are working hard to unite Africa, so what is the benefit? What is the difference between that? My message to all fellow Africans is that let us join the other leaders who we know that they are still keeping the spirit of Africa, to join them together, because this one is a movement that needs us to work together and unite ourselves together as an Africa. As the young leaders of South Sudan, Africa, or East Africa, or the world at large, I love people to move together, uniting Africa, fighting against the outside power that is still with us. Don't think that the colonization is over. It's not over. Because if the colonization is over, why would the government call the United Kingdom or United States of America to go and address the problem of the Africa or of the Rwanda? Because the colonization, so it gives us a 1% independent, but it's still following us. So I'm telling you that let us collaborate together as unite Africa. God bless Africa. Thank you. Okay. Okay, now everything is in place. Those who have comments and questions will come back to you shortly after this one. Please hold on, be patient. I know the gentleman has been raising his hand. I come to you shortly after this presentation, and then you just speak your mind. So, everything considered, ladies and gentlemen, please help me as we welcome the second speaker, the second presenter. Put your hands together.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Umunyafurika Program. As he said, I'm a commissioner at Pan-African Movement. I'm in charge of trade unions. Do you know what trade union is? You know? Okay. Can you give me an example of a trade union you know in Rwanda? Are you not from Rwanda?
No, I'm not Rwandan.
Okay. Like private sector federation, for example. There are trade unions for teachers, trade unions for workers at the hospital, trade unions. There's a lot of trade unions in Rwanda. So in my commission, we focus on educating people on the skills of the future. Because why? I'll go back there. Let's talk about Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism was found in the time where Africans were persecuted. Africans were colonized. A lot of Africans were slaves or were about to be slaves. So that time, the ancient Africans, some of them are very popular, like, do you know the founders of Pan-African movement? Any name? Nelson Mandela, Kwame, Nkrumah. Yeah. So those Africans founded Pan-Africanism because there was a problem related to colonialism, to Africa being poor. But today, we cannot say that Africa is totally free. Africa is better than where it was before, but we are still facing a problem related to economic crisis. Our country are not very well developed. Our young people are moving to other continents, and that is a very big problem for Africa. One of the things that Africa has now, the biggest, is not the natural resources only, but it is the people. The wealth of African continent is the people. Why? Because the people of Africa are very young. They're still young. We have a lot of women, we have a lot of men, and those ones are young as compared to other continents. And in the years to come, in 2050, we will even be more than many other continents. Like, we will be the continent that has the largest youth in the world. So, what will happen? What do you think is going to happen? If you are not rich, and we have a lot of young people with ambitions sitting in Africa, are they going to stay in a place where there is insecurity? Do you plan to stay in a place where there is insecurity? Do you plan to stay in a place where you are not well paid? When you know that there is another continent where you're paid? I don't think any of us will stay here. So, one of the solutions I think Africa has, and one of the solutions I think you and I could contribute to increase the economic situation of Africa, or to improve the economic situation of Africa, is to be skilled enough to change things in Africa. Do you agree with me? So I don't want to, I'm not a politician, so I don't want to tell you a lot of wrong story. I just want us to come to action. What can you, me, our professors, the university, and anyone sitting here can do right now to contribute or to change something to the situation of Africa that we don't like? The narrative of Africa that we don't like is to be skilled enough to contribute to the state of technology in Africa, the state of health, to become better doctors, to become good entrepreneurs, to the fact that we could even contribute to the economy. That is what I think we could do. So we don't have a lot of time to go into details on how we can do it, but I invite you guys to go to this website. I know you're in a very good university where you learn a lot. However, learning is always combining what we learn in school and what is needed to the market. So this is one of the platforms where you have a lot of knowledge on the platform, and it is free to access. And those content that are on this platform are content that if you add to what you are already learning in school, you become better. So one of the contributions to African economic growth would be, let's increase our skills. Let's learn about technology, even if we are into engineering, we are into construction, we are into farming, agriculture. Let's focus on that. The second thing the second action I believe you and I can take would be to contribute to food security. Africa has a big land that is not cultivated. Even the one that is cultivated is not done in a way that a person like you, who have been in a university like this, will cultivate it. If one of us become a farmer, I don't believe they will do it the way it is done traditionally. So that's why I'll ask my brother there, who's using a projector, to present the second website that I want you to consult to understand what can Africans do to contribute to the food security. So, Feed the Future is a website I want all of us to consult and understand what can we do to contribute as Africa, as Pan-Africans. How can we contribute to the economic growth of Africa? So if we go to this website, there are a lot of hints by which you could understand how, if you cannot go to the farm to be a farmer, at least you can help a farmer to sell online. You can help a farmer to grow his page using digital marketing. So business is about supporting each other. So I one time went on a training in China, and then they said, we are taking you in a village that has contributed to more than 30% of China's GDP. So they said it's a village. Okay, when I went there, you know, I was dressed in a villager. I thought we are going to the hills and we see a village. When I reached there, everyone was driving a Ferrari. All these nice cars that you see, they were there. So I asked them, are you sure there's no mistake? Because when you talked about a village and a farmer, I imagine everyone's traveling, or at least, you know, they said, no. These people, 10 years ago, they weren't even able to put food on their table. But today, everyone is to over $20 million wealth. And I was very interested. I wanted to understand what happened. That village is known to cultivate nuts. You know, ubunyobwa. Ubunyobwa barabuzi haburi aturi. So they do cashew nuts and all sorts of nuts. The difference is you were doing nuts to sell them in a region or in one country. Now you have a way to sell nuts in the whole world. So as they say, numbers don't lie. If you are getting $1 to sell nuts, and then you're selling, you're getting $1 to sell the same nuts to 1 million people, you are already a millionaire. If you get 10 million people, then you have more than 10 million income. So that's what we need to do. There is a lot of farmers in Africa that need you. There's a lot of farmers. We know that we need food. We know about food security and what happens with the economy, the war in Ukraine, the crisis it brings. So we are still suffering. If we don't do nothing about it, we stay in the same state. So I wanted to encourage you to understand that the reason those farmers, come back to my Chinese farmers, the reasons that they made it to millions is because they called their students who were in university and tell them, we are going to be in the farms. You're going to be on the platforms, online, selling what we produce. So together, they were able to change the narrative of a place called Hanzu. Hanzu in China. It's not Guangzhou. Hanzu, it's written with G-H-A-Z-A. So Hanzu is a place in China. It was changed by the partnership of students and the farmers. So without further ado, the third thing, action that you and I can contribute is infrastructure. We need to think of what is innovative infrastructure. Because Africa used to be financed by foreign direct investment, or the countries themselves were able to finance people or finance infrastructure. But our countries are struggling due to many things, including what happened in 2020 when there was a crisis of COVID-19. So a lot of countries are struggling. Foreign investment is not there because there is a lot of things linked to it. And that is why we have a movement like Pan-African movement, where we teach Africa. We want to believe that together, as Africa, one country to another country, we can collaborate, change things, instead of waiting for what is coming from other continents. So, innovative infrastructure is another point. As students, I want you to research on. So there is a third website. My friend, there's a third website you can share. So please, because of time, I can not continue and talk about the amazing family Pan-African movement is to many of us, and now you, because I want to come back. So our vice lecturer is part of us. He can always invite us, but right now I think I will let you elect your people. You, Erica, deserve to have a group of Pan-Africanists who are very active, who want to join us. Because I had, like my brother had a good comments and ideas. I'm sure all of you guys have good ideas and things you want to share. So please welcome to Pan-African movement. One of the commissioners. There's a lot of commissioners, very young as you, very dynamic. There's a lot of things we do together. I'm sure that we'll be happy to share it with you. So I'm happy to have known you and to have been invited here. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Please give another round of applause to Nadia, our second presenter. Yeah. Nadia didn't tell us that she's probably a lecturer somewhere, a professor somewhere, but the way she talks, the way she delivers like a professional lecturer. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm sure you've all followed the two presentations, rotating around one theme, which is the Pan-African movement. And of course, young people, just be talking about young people, yes, partnering with the other people, stakeholders, farmers, yes, you can invest in agriculture, you partner with farmers, and you, transform more. So ladies and gentlemen, I had earlier on said that after the two presentations, we have the question, 3 questions, and if time is on our side, then 2 more questions. Can I see those ready to ask? Yes. You are more than 3. Let me receive the gentleman over there. Please come here. Sir, the man at the back.
Let the protocol remain observed.
They can see you well.
Let the protocol remain observed. By the name Biaza Stephen Awara Biaza, an African by nationality. So, mine is not actually a question, but it was a comment during the first session that I would like to put forward. These are just 3 things that I would like to base most on. One is that we need to know that Africa is a diverse continent with rich history and culture. That is what we have to put in our mind from day to day. Secondly, from all the conclusion of the first lecture that I have actually learned is that we as Africans, to put Africa in order, we must first put what? Our nations in order. And to put our nations in order, we have to put our families in order. And to put our families in order, we have to put ourselves in order. To cultivate in us, we first have to invest in our own selves. We need to have peace of mind. We need to have peace and security of everything that is happening around us, so that we transform everything that is within us into the nation outside. This is the second thing. The third thing is that, though from all the movement that has started from 1900 there, from the different personalities and the different conferences that have taken place in the Western world, I have not actually part in that. But this is my encouragement, and I'm so happy that I saw one of the backbones of the nation with us here. As you can see from the left to right or from the right to left, we only have one person. Let me say one female representing all the females during the, let me say, the foundation of the Pan-African. So this is my message.